Hey, good evening, everyone.
What's going on, guys?
Got Jason Byer here. I'm Kenny Mullins. Sorry we're late tonight. Kind of had a mishap. I accidentally put the wrong time. It actually worked out because both of us were running a little late. Um, we're going to give it a few minutes for some more people to hop on. So, Jason, how you been?
Man, I've been recovering. I was super sick and spent quite a bit of time in the hospital, but I'm back to work and feeling way better. It was rough, that's for sure.
Yeah, you were supposed to be on last week, and
I just
you
got out of the
called me.
hospital.
Yeah, and overdoing it.
Yeah.
Stacy said must have forgot where the gas pedal was. Just trying to be more like you, Stacy. The light's kind of blinding me. Let's see. She got those dogs going crazy out there. Letting a few more people hop on. I had some picture. I was. So, Jason, you been doing any mock tracks or anything lately?
So, I have not. I have not done any rock tracks in probably almost 10 days. Normally, I do about 3 to 4 a week on average, and just I was so messed up. I just didn't haven't done it. Matter of fact, Branson Guthrie got with me today. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Branson.
Yeah,
Um,
happy birthday. I don't know if
he,
you're on here, but
yeah, he reached out to me today, trying to get together. Hopefully, towards the end of the week, to run a couple with him. So,
good evening, Cassidy, Kevin White, Brody. Um, Let me turn this off. Um, it says I have a reminder that we're going live. So we got a question that came in already, so we'll go ahead and get on that while we're giving people time to
yeah,
hop on. Kevin White says, "Do either of you use wireless fences, and if so, do you have any recommendations?"
I have. I've used wireless fence, and it worked really well for a long time. But I had a black lab, and he would literally sit there at the edge and let it beep until the battery wore off, and then as soon as the battery would wear out, he would go do his thing. So dogs are pretty smart and they can figure it out. Some dogs don't want to get shocked and they'll leave it alone, but he knew that's what he wanted to do, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and so Kevin had talked to me about it the other day, and the only one I have experience with is the Pet Safe.
That's what it
It's
was.
got the gray
Yep.
the gray box.
Yep.
And he was talking to me about the Halo one. I guess it doesn't do a shock correction, but I just question how the dog's going to respond. Some dogs are, they don't pay any attention to a vibrate
No, sometimes
or a tone.
they'll just go right through it though. I've seen it. So
Yeah,
uh,
that would be my biggest concern with that. I mean, I know that's marketed towards people who think that shock is cruelty, but a lot of people doesn't understand that if you put a shock collar on you and you shock yourself, and the level that we use shock is very low
yeah,
in most cases.
yeah.
The horror stories you hear about is the people that doesn't know what they're doing and they burn a dog up. Um, so I'll do a little more research on that, Kevin. Right now, like I said, the only thing I can comment on is the Pet Safe one, and it did a good job for us.
Okay. Well, one of my three worked for. So that was it. So.
Yeah. Um, Billy Hodgson says out in the middle of the Gulf, but still able to check in.
Cool.
Yeah, he's going on a long fishing trip, kind of mating, doing mate work on the boat.
Oh, uh-huh.
Something to do. Friend of his running a pretty long trip. So Bobby Toon says, when laying mock tracks, how many times do you reuse the hose? There's a lot that goes into that, Bobby. Um, how long are the tracks? What's the ambient temperature?
The terrain.
Yeah, the terrain. On average, I would say 6 to 8. If you're running, half mile or longer tracks and it's in the middle of the summer, you're gonna
3 or 4.
yeah, you might get 3 or 4. I would say that's about right because during the summer when John and I are training, we go through 1 to 2 sets a day, just because it's hot and we're doing some long tracks. So, but hopefully it helps. Right now, I mean, 6 to 8 is a pretty standard answer.
Yeah, like you said, it goes on, but if you're going, 900 to 1,000 yards and into a rocky area, it usually they don't last very long.
So Tommy Berthelot, here's something I've been thinking about. A deer body temp is over 100. Yep, 101 to 102, but 101's average. When it is cold like it has been, does anyone warm their hooves or just put them outside to thaw out and warm up to air temp? It's in the 50s. A lot of times I don't even let them thaw out. I hit the ground running.
I'll just take them out of the freezer, put them in my shoes, and by the time I get to where I land the track, usually it's about a half hour, so they're definitely almost thawed out or the thawed out. So
yeah, I mean, we would put the shoes and the hooves in the freezer if we're able to. If we haven't ran a bunch, and then we just pull them out, and like you said, by the time you get ready, you get the dog ready. Well, not get the dog ready. What we do is pull them out, and if we got to clean kennels or something, or a lot of times we'll take the dogs out of the kennels and put them in the airing yard or on a stakeout and let them burn off some energy while we're laying tracks. But a lot of times we'll just run them frozen on a training line. It doesn't seem to make much of a difference.
No.
So, Jason, how's DG been doing? You said she was.
So I'm glad you asked that. So I've had a lot of problems with DG. I called Kenny a couple of weeks ago. I train her in the morning, usually about a half hour to 45 minutes before work, and then at least an hour when I get home from work. And what I mean by trainer, I do agility or whatever I can because she's a Belgian Malinois. She's high strung and she got to burn energy. Well, I noticed as it got a little warmer in 10, 15 minutes, she was huffing and puffing, and I was really worried about her. I was talking to Kenny and Travis Bozeman, and I think I even talked to Lindsay Cooper, and all three of them had the same recommendation. It's not that she's fatigued; it's fatigued of nutrition. And so I switched over to the Diamond. What's that stuff called?
Which one? What color's
it's the new. It's a super duper.
The Diamond Extreme Athlete.
That's it. Diamond Extreme Athlete.
It's the Diamond Naturals. It's a white and red bag. It says Diamond Extreme Athlete. It's 32% protein and
25% fat.
Yeah, 25%.
25% fat. So I started doing that the last couple of days, and along with another supplement and also some raw venison, and just in 2 days. And when I got home from work today, she was no huffing and puffing. She seemed a little better. I was feeding her Science Diet, which is a good food, but not for her caliber.
Yeah, and that Science Diet, I looked it up, is 17% protein and was it 13% fat?
Something like that. Yeah, there's no additives. There's no filler, but it's just not for something like DG.
Yeah, so that's something I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people they just don't know. They don't understand how important it is, especially for a working dog and a high drive dog like DG, which is a Malinois. And she is wide open pretty much all the time.
Yep. I mean, all but time. Early in the morning, she's good to go. She's super lovey-dovey, but in the afternoon, she's super lovey-dovey. But anytime between, all she wants to do is play and work.
And the thing is, a lot of people will swap foods during the off season and think that you only need to feed that food during season. But, like Dr. Graham spoke in Stockton and in Fargo, he said the same thing. The fat content is for the energy now.
Right.
And then the protein, it stores up, basically you're building up storage. So if you go out there and you're working, you burn off that energy for now, then it starts eating into your protein levels.
Right.
And, what he was saying is if you don't feed it year round, it's fine, but you need to start at least a couple of months before season. I just feed it year round.
Yeah.
And if I need to, I'll cut back on the amount of feed. I don't swap feed back and forth.
Yeah.
Um,
And see with her though is we have 3 dogs and we just keep the food out. Well, now I can't do that with her because I don't want my other dog eating that high protein, high fat because it's not good for them because they don't work like she does. And so,
yeah, I mean,
you see my dog Belle, she's really fat.
yeah, I was talking more Pickle. I mean,
Pickle,
I don't think it would hurt for Pickle to feed it. You just got to feed less. And the other thing too is I see all the time on Facebook posts where people talk about, oh, I don't like that food. It made my dog have diarrhea. 9 times out of 10, when I start talking to that person, say, okay, well, that dog or that food caused diarrhea. How long did you take to transition to that food? Most people says, oh, I didn't. I just switched. Well, yeah, you're gonna have diarrhea.
Yeah, you gotta, and that's what Travis said. Don't give it all at one time, and mix a little bit with the science diet. But
yeah, and like I think Dr. Graham said, 7 to 10 days, mix it 50-50, and then switch. Other ones will tell you to step it. I've always been fine mixing it 50-50, but you got to do that. And then when you get into these higher protein, higher fat feeds, just because the recommendation for the food amount is on the bag doesn't mean that's where it has to be.
No, I agree.
You may have to feed a little more, you may have to feed less. And when you get into these higher proteins, higher fats, if they're not burning it and you are feeding more than you should, it's going to come out. It's going to come out in the form of diarrhea.
That's right.
So a lot of times people just they don't understand dog nutrition. And, another thing is you don't want grain free.
That's what Dr. Graham said. I remember that.
Yeah, Dr. Graham said
it's not good. Yeah, so what we were doing before is we'd always make rice and sweet potatoes, and we'd add that to the food with the raw venison.
So you're getting carbs up, but
yeah, and it just but of course we get lackadaisical too. Didn't make it the last couple of weeks, and
you were getting carbs up, and you were getting adding some extra protein with the venison, but it really wasn't taking up that fat level where you needed it.
It's the fat, I think, was what she needed. Like you said, that's the first thing that burns off first.
I know all about that. So hopefully that was some helpful information for people, because that's always a hot topic is the dog nutrition, the dog food, and I like Diamond. I used to feed Victor. I fed Purina Pro Plan, and honestly, the problem I had with Pro Plan is like my lab, we were having to feed him 8 cups a day to maintain during, when he was working.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And then we made the switch to Victor. We were able to cut back to about, I think it was 5 to 6 cups. And then we switched to the Diamond. And what is he now, Brandy? About 2 cups a day?
Right.
Outlaw.
He's got 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 cups instead of
makes a big
8 cups of Pro Plan. And, that Pro Plan is $90.
Think of all the crap that it makes too. It
right.
makes a big difference.
Yep.
So,
think we're going to have to switch feeds. Can't find ours in stock. Yeah, that's an issue. And I know a lot of people feeds Value Pack. Value Pack has some stuff going on.
they recalled it.
No, what they have going on is they were basically supplying stores direct, and it was costing them more money, so they decided to only deal with distributors. So now you're adding a middleman.
Gotcha.
And so it's gonna have to go to the distributor, and the distributor's gonna have to distribute it to the stores, which what that's gonna cost.
Oh, yeah, more money.
More money.
Yeah.
We're fortunate we have Bozeman's wife that
that's what
keeps it in stock and fresh.
Yeah. What's the name of that place?
Saving Grace.
Saving Grace in Crawfordville.
Yeah.
Levi Reeves says Black Bag Value Pack stays in stock at my co-op. I had issues with Black Bag Value Pack. We fed it for a long time, and it started out great, and then all the dogs went downhill. And that's why we switched, and we switched, and we were having to feed more. that was another problem, and a lot of waste. The amount of crap in the kennels.
Well, see, I mean, I look at it like this. I mean, you know how I feel about my dogs, especially DG. She's like my family, and I'm not going to feed my family something I wouldn't feed my kids. And so I'm going to give them the best nutrition I can possibly give them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Coda Stewart says had great luck with Showtime. I haven't had good luck with Showtime. I mean, the dogs did good on it, but the amount of crap in the kennels and, I want minimal waste. And I want the dogs to stay how they need. And the biggest thing I seen with Showtime is the coats. I wasn't having the coat on the dogs was not what it is now. What do you think about 4Health Tractor Supply sales? We tried that. We were using the 4Health Strive, I believe it was, and just they couldn't keep it in stock, and we switched back to Victor, and then they had the recall, and I will not go back to Victor. We had every one of our dogs got dang near deathly ill.
Yeah.
And it's how they handled that recall is why I won't go back, because they recalled the small bags, and that went on for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden they recalled the bigger bags, and we about lost some dogs.
I remember that.
Yeah. Salmonella. It's hard to go back to. So far, average 4 cups per dog. See, we don't even feed our Cane Corso 5 cups, Brandy?
She is between 4 and 5.
Yeah, between 4 and 5, and she's 110 pounds of the diamond. On average, I mean, with the Catahoulas, Blackmouth Cur, Lab, on average we're 2.5 cups. So that's quite a big difference.
Yeah, that's how.
And I'm by no means a dog food salesman. We feed a lot of dogs. We go through about $500 worth of food a month. And we could definitely cut costs by going to a little cheaper feed, but the trade-off is not as good a coats, a lot of crap in the kennels, and with some of them, we're struggling to keep weight on them.
Yeah,
I'd rather pay a little bit more, and I think we're paying low 40s, maybe mid 40s for Diamond Naturals and Diamond Performance, and we're actually switching all of them over to Diamond Performance. We had 2 different ones because we had one dog that
didn't like it or something.
That had to be picky.
Yeah.
And she likes the Diamond Performance. All the dogs are doing great on it. And that's what I'm going to stick with. Which Diamond Naturals to use? I was looking at today. So, Brandy, you don't have a Diamond Naturals bag, do you? The one we used the most was the brown and white bag. It's all life stages. And we did that because we have a lot of different age dogs in our kennels. But now we're switching everyone over to Diamond Performance because we were feeding the one was the salmon and sweet potato, wasn't it, Brandy? That was what one of our dogs would eat. And then now she
likes the performance.
Yeah, now she likes the performance, so we're going to be able to switch all of them. So let's see. Are you feeding 4 cups once a day or twice a day? I guess he's asking someone else because we feed on average 2.5 cups a day, once a day. So like I said, the Jane, our Cane Corso, she's about 4.5 cups once a day.
But she's 110 pounds.
Yeah, she's 110 pounds.
Right.
Outlaw is about 70 pounds, Brandy?
Yeah.
He eats about 3.5 cups a day, once a day. My dogs prefer Pillsbury Grands. That's Mike Alguire. I guess you probably knew that. Let's see, Craig. Wait, let me go up a little bit. We got some questions coming in. Any recommendations at what age I should transition a Teckle puppy from a puppy food to a higher quality adult food. It's a year old. Depending on what you feed, I mean, we tend to lean more towards the all life stages because we have so many different age dogs. And I will always have pups around because I prefer working younger pups. I'm just weird like that. Stacy Frost says we've been feeding Diamond Performance for 2 years. They do great on it. We've definitely having some great success, and they've been around since '70s. So they're not new to the game by any
I
means.
just know when Travis and his wife were researching it when they opened that feed store, that was one of the ones that they had the best input from. So
Yeah, it's just all right. So Craig, let's see. New to training, but working with my 1-year-old Drothar and having a blast. Would like to test him soon. He pulls hard, but makes it easy to know when he is off track, but he blows past turns off. And should I try to slow him down? Absolutely. So I just posted a YouTube video today. I haven't posted on the Mullins dog training page yet, but I did post it on our YouTube channel. And when the owner watched it, he was shocked. He's like, I'm surprised that dog was working that slow. We try to slow every dog down in training because first off, you cannot keep up with that dog. I don't care who you think you are or how fast you think you are or how much stamina you think. You're not keeping up with the dog. So you train that dog to work at your pace. As far as pulling hard, I don't want a dog that pulls hard. I correct that. I mean, none of my dogs pull hard. So yes, I do recommend slowing him down, and that's why he blows through the turns because he's working so fast. So slow him down.
it's easy to read them too when you have more control.
Right. So 2 ways you can do that. Well, several ways, but probably the 2 easiest ways for the average person to correct that would be a half hitch, around the back end, or a pinch collar / prong collar. That's probably the easiest for the average person.
That's what JJ recommended also.
Yeah. And another trick you can do, especially with a DD, a lot of your bird dogs, and some cur dogs, they tend to trail with their nose up. So you can take that prong collar and attach the lead to it, but have it come down on the chest instead of off the top of the back of the neck, and run it underneath one armpit to the back. As that dog starts picking its head up, you can put pressure on that lead, and it'll bring that dog's head down. And I'm not talking snatching on it, and people looks at those prong collars as cruel. If you ever use one, you'll understand it only takes about 1, maybe 2 times of them putting tension on that, and they're not going to do it again. Unless you have a yak terrier or something, then it takes them a little more. They're a little stubborn. So hopefully that will help you out, but definitely slow them down. So
Glad the questions are coming through.
Oh yeah, Mark Daisley. I have a 12-week-old Teckle. She's doing good on high drags, 50 to 60 yards. When should I switch her to hooves? Any recommendations on how to do it? I did buy the tracking shoes. Switch now. I don't even do high drags anymore. I don't do any drags. Personally, 12 weeks. Otto did great 12 weeks. I mean, Otto was running 400-yard tracks.
Pickle was too.
But that was his first. I mean, I put him on his first track. It's 430 yards, 4 hours old, and he smoked it. But I tend to wait till they're the age and they're ready. And like I said, I don't do drags anymore. I don't do leg drags, high drags, liver drags, unless I absolutely have to. But I would rather, if it's my personal dog, I'm going to wait till they're ready, and I'm going to start off straight with hooves.
So you don't think by doing a drag at all at a younger age, even at 2 months old, just to get their interest and have fun with it, to see what they do?
I personally don't.
Gotcha. All right.
That's just my personal preference. I let a dog be a dog. When they're ready, they're ready.
Makes sense.
One of my Catahoula's, she hit the ground running. The other one's doing good. I got another one out there that I've tried on a few mock tracks, and he's just not really ready yet. He's there now, but he'll be a year old next week. And you know what? I didn't care to push him. I wanted him to be ready, and I'm a little different. Some people they want to get him going. I just personally let him be a dog, and I take that about 8 to 16 week period, and that's when I focus on my obedience. That's the best time to teach recall. Just that 8 to 16 week age, and then if I'm going to teach him a heel, like if it's a retriever or really retriever, I want a solid heel. I do that about 6 months old. But as far as tracking dogs, I do very minimal obedience. I like my tracking dogs a little wild. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with starting them young. That's just my personal preference. I wait. A tackle, I believe 12 weeks is about right. And I would go straight to hooves and just switch. Just do it. I don't even start at 50 to 60 yards anymore. I mean, I'm 100 to 200.
Yeah.
Even if I have to help them through it a little bit, because like I said, I'm not the person that sets them up for success every time. I want them to get off. I want to learn how to read them when they get off. I want them to understand that they're part of the team, that I'm part of the team, and that we work together, and that's how I personally feel that you build that. So there's some people still chiming on dog food, talking about the natural skin and coat is for all age dogs. The thing to remember, though, is you really want to pay attention, especially working dogs, to that fat, protein, carbohydrates, fiber.
Right.
You really got to pay attention to those ingredients and all of those levels. Craig says he uses a harness and hook underneath, which helps. Yes, I agree, but it's going to do something completely different when you use that prong collar, because obviously you're asking a question about slowing down. So the harness underneath it is not working for what you need to do. So you're going to have to do something different. And I'm not saying that in a negative way towards you. I'm just saying to correct that issue, you're going to have to do something different. Do the half hitch, do the prong collar, and especially the DD, I'd run it underneath. Wayne Reese has got to get small dogs 1/3 a cup twice a day. Times 5 dogs, 25% fat, 30% protein. Food is a hot topic, but you are spot on with high energy dogs. I just watch my guys and adjust accordingly. Absolutely. All right, Kevin White, another one for Kenny. This is a good question. I know you provide training for tracking dogs. Is there such a thing as train the handler course? Yes. We do offer that. It's a very important thing, because I get a lot of people every time that we have a dog come back or a person call. I say that 99% of the time, if we have a dog come back, it's not the dog, it's the handler. And most of the time, because we want people to come work with us when they come pick the dog up. And I always tell them whenever they don't want to handle the dog when they come pick it up, I say, look, I can handle your dog and you can watch me, but you need to learn how to handle the dog. And every time that we get someone that asks us to handle it, they're coming back at some point saying my dog's not working. And then we come back, show them, hey, remember what we said? Well, we'll work the dog, and it smokes the trail. They're like, well, it doesn't do that at home. And then I'll say, okay, well, you work the dog. And then I point out everything they're doing wrong, and it's always the handler.
Well, just like when we were doing some of the judging, especially in Baton Rouge, watching the dog and then the handler pull the dog off the track because they don't know how to read the dog. So yeah, training the handler is probably almost more important than training the dog.
Right. And I know you kind of singled out Baton Rouge, but
no, it's everywhere. I mean,
what I was going to say is we did have a lot of our first season trackers and handlers, a lot of new dogs, new handlers with new dogs. So that's why it was a little exaggerated there. We had a pretty high.
Oh, they almost high
80%. So, but you're right. A lot of them, almost all of them that I tested, the weaker side was the handler.
Yep, every one of them.
Yep. And that's almost always. And I'm not going to pick on Mike Alguire today, so. Yeah, I am. We're gonna go back to Mike's track. That was a lot of that was handler nerves, and
that was a tough track.
No, I just had to pick on Mike a little bit,
but he passed.
So Mike Barron, did you try and slow my jip down? Your jip worked very slow for us. So yes, but a lot of times when they get home, and I'm not saying this is the case with you, Mike, but a lot of times they get home and the owners doesn't know how to keep that going, or we'll train them, we'll show them how, and then they get home, they get back in that same rut. We had he's not on here tonight. We had a dog, a Yak Terrier, that we trained, and that dog was wild. I was actually in Mexico laying in the hospital, and John calls me. This is when the dog came in. Then John calls me and says, I can't do anything with this devil dog. I said, what dog are you talking about? This little devil dog. It was that Yak Terrier. I said, hey, man, just let it be until I get there. I'll be home in a few days. I'll take care of it. And I've worked with those dogs quite a bit, so I knew how to handle them. And that dog was wild. Well, the owner ended up, when it came time, the dog was finished with its training. The owner had to have emergency appendix surgery. So Brandy and I drove that dog home to Tuscaloosa area, and we got there, and the guy's wife shows up, and the dog's healed next to me, calm, and she comes up and says, that's not our dog. But I say that because the owner says, yeah, he's wild again. He did good for a while, but he's wild now. It's because they let him get away with it. And it is, I'm not talking behind his back. It's nothing. This is what I said to him. You let it get that way.
That makes sense.
Just like a kid, if you give a dog an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Well, it's a lot of work. It's not, some dogs you don't have to worry about. They're seasoned. They're good to go. They don't have to worry about more mock tracks. But I think even as handlers, watching them work on those mock tracks and catching little things that I didn't notice before, and it's a gradual process. It's not just something you're just going to go out and do. No, some of you guys can go out and read dogs like that and have that experience, but for novice people like me, it takes me a little longer to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's just because, I've trained hundreds of dogs. Yeah. I've been behind hundreds and hundreds of dogs. Even my wife has trained hundreds of dogs.
Right.
She can read a dog as good or better than most people. And she doesn't even track. No. But she has trained them. So speaking of that, one of the workshops we're going to have at the event in Alabama is
Excited about that.
reading your dog.
That's right.
So that's going to be a good one. I personally have not been to an event, a seminar, or anything that anyone has done what we're going to do with this. And I think that's going to help a lot of people out, especially these newer people. Not just newer people. I mean, I see veteran trackers all the time pull their dog off the line. I'm not going to mention Mike's name, but and I only said that because Mike called me and said, I was just fixing to say, can we change the subject because I am fixing to catch crap. He said, I will fully admit my test was definitely on me. That was poor performance on my part. You have seen firsthand how Debo handles and works. I was messing him up. It was nerves.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on that track.
Yeah. But still.
He still passed.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very, very, very difficult track.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So these mock tracks, are you training the dog? Yes. But can a dog pick it up? I mean, naturally, yeah. There's a lot of natural dogs out there. But the more important side of running these mock tracks is you learning your dog and building that relationship with the dog. You get a lot of people, I never trained my dog. It finds deer. Well, yeah, it's a natural instinct.
But think of the percentage, though, if he actually trained it and worked with that dog, where he would be,
right,
besides just that dog that is natural that can go find deer. 'Cause I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but the flip side of that, we train dogs for people all the time, and those dogs are solid when they leave here, or don't let them leave.
right.
I mean, we have one now. It's probably just over 2 months, and the dog's solid now. We're fixing to test it, but that's just the way I am. If I wouldn't be happy with that dog when it leaves, it's not leaving.
Right.
But the other side of that is, if the handler doesn't do their part and come and work with us, and then go home and work that dog and learn how to read that dog and handle that dog, they're not going to be as proficient as they could be.
Yeah.
So, and we do the bulk of the work, but you still need to build that relationship. You still need to learn how to read your dog and put that time in the field and bond. Cassidy Long says, talking about building relationships, Dad trained one of ours and found deer with her. That dog would not track for me the first year. I spent time with her in the off season. She tracked and recovered for me this past year. It happens. And so one thing we do, like the blue tick Crockett I was talking about, we posted the video of. When the owner called me, he says, well, the dog is for my son. Oh, there's Kyle. That's who I was talking about. That has Crockett. He was asking the question about, the dog was for his son, but he's going to track with him quite a bit, and then his son will track some. So he was asking how the dog would do with different handlers. Well, what we do here is John's handled that dog. I've handled that dog. My son Dakota's handled that dog. Brandy's handled that dog. So these dogs get a lot of exposure with different people handling them. And that, I think there's a lot to be said about that, because your dog's going to be around a lot of people when you go out there in the public.
That's right.
May not be everyone handling it, but they're going to be around a lot of people. And I mean, I've had people come pick up Dixie and that's never even met her and went and found deer with her.
Yeah. You did this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We worked with Kyle Park's dog Bailey, and then there was some issues going on, and it was handler issues. I don't know if he's watching, but I'm gonna pick on him a little bit. He kind of lost some confidence. He had a string of bad tracks, and he thought it was the dog, and it caused him to fail his dog.
So it's easy to do, though. I mean, you start questioning. You go 6-0, and then all of a sudden you go 0-4, 0-5. It's like, what the heck just happened?
Oh, I've went as many as 0-15.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just bad tracks.
You can't fix that. Yeah.
So, but it caused him to lose confidence. And then he was making mistakes and pushing his dog on stuff he shouldn't. Well, then his dog ended up chasing live stuff, like someone pushing their dog on hogs. No.
Yeah.
See, I don't discriminate. I pick on everyone, including myself. But what I was going to say is I knew what it was. And I told him that, but he still wanted to bring her and have John and I evaluate her. And we did. I mean, we pulled all the tricks out trying to find something wrong. And I said, hey, bring her. He's like, man, it's right in the peak of season. I said, bring her, pick up Dixie, and go back. And he went back finding deer. You know, and what it was, he had confidence in Dixie because nothing had happened. He didn't have that string of bad tracks to make him doubt her. And then when he got his confidence came back up, and he came and got his dog back and went back finding deer, no issues. So we had his dog here, I don't know, a week and a half. We couldn't find anything. I mean, he thought maybe it was gun shy. We shot guns around her. You know, we made a decoy deer and put a whole hide over it at the end of the trail to see if something may have happened, or a live deer may have
Hurt
her or something. And it was honestly just his confidence with her.
And dogs also feed off the confidence too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I 100% agree with that.
By the way, that the last two blue ticks we trained been jam up. That little one, did you see that little one?
No, I'd take that in a minute.
Kyle's-
Kyle, if you're listening, I'd take it.
Yeah, Kyle Parson. Then Kyle Carlson, he's the one that has Crockett here now, and Crockett is
Good too.
yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Bruce said, I agree with bad tracks mess with your mind. You know, Ben and I's had a conversation. I know Ben's talked to Jason Bell and Ralph, and the same thing. Mitchell Smith said, I thought he was talking about you, Ben. Because Ben had a run of bad tracks, and it was causing him to doubt things. And it happens. I mean,
It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. You know, you question everything. You question yourself. You question your dog. You question the circumstance. You question the hunter. I mean, everything.
and the worst thing you can do is push your dog when your dog's telling you, hey, we're not going to get this deer.
That's right. Yep, I made that mistake last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go hunt something.
Yeah, because I told her to over and over again. I felt I was embarrassed that she wasn't doing anything.
And you and I have had that talk
Yeah,
many times before
yeah,
that, but you know, you're hard headed like my wife. I'm getting a dirty look over here.
I was trying to prove a point that could not be proven, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So.
Can't jump in the back of the truck yet. You know, I forgot. We got to work on that. That's easy though.
What's that?
Getting a dog to load up in the back of the truck. That takes no time. So Jamie, do people actually look for deer at all anymore? Or immediately call for a dog? It seems to me that's not being taught anymore. I disagree. Rarely do we get easy tracks.
3. I had 3 out of 123.
Yeah. So Jamie, to kind of expand on that a little bit, I don't think it's so much. I don't know of anyone that very, very rarely does someone call on an easy track. It's more, I think it's just more exposure. Social media has put a magnifying glass on tracking, and it's made people, it's given them an easier outlet to find a tracker. And of course, us doing stuff like this, we're shedding light on what's happening. The problem's always been there. Even before the big boom in popularity, I mean, my phone was ringing off the hook. I wish we got some easy tracks. I wish people would just pick up the phone and call us.
I had 3 tracks that I know that the average hunter should have found that deer.
Right.
Without, going too far. It was 3 out of 123.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's, even that's a little high on what I average.
Yeah.
And I will say, especially in our area, some of these woods are just nasty.
Oh, especially where y'all go.
I tell people in our hunt club, don't even go look. I mean, it's just so thick, wet, nasty. You know, if you have any doubts at all, you didn't see it fall, you better call because it gets nasty quick. You've been out there.
Oh, it's bad. It was. I was bloodied. I mean, when I say bloodied, I was bloodied.
Yep.
So it was bad.
James says we can't even hunt during the day for tracking deer. Yeah, that's I don't hardly hunt anymore. If I do, it might be on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and my phone's still blowing up. I think I hunted 3 days this year.
101.
Maybe was it 3, 2, 3? Yeah, maybe 3. Unless it was duck hunting and I was guiding a hunt.
Well, that doesn't
different.
count.
That's
Yeah, I hunted once this year for 2 hours. Last year, we went to Alabama, and then I hunted twice. So I hunted 5 times last year. The year before I started tracking, I averaged 50 hunts a year.
Oh yeah, I used to be a hunting fool, and now
So yeah.
I say this every year. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to hunt more. I'm going to say it again this year, and it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Matter of fact, I think you already said you're going to do more tracking this year. So
yeah, I am going to do that.
it's a lot of fun. That's why I do it.
Well, I mean, so whenever I left the mill and went guiding full time, it it was kind of scary leaving a job like that with high pay and excellent benefits, and now you're on your own. If you don't work, you don't have anything coming in. So I just felt like I couldn't turn anything away. I couldn't take a day off. Someone called, I had to be there.
Right.
Now I realize, I gotta take time for myself too.
That's
I
right.
say that, and I'm working 18 days in a row right now, fishing and dogs. Let's see. Terry says, "What's best way to slow my young dog down? She wants to sprint while tracking. I think I'm slowing her down and making her rethink herself because I have to track on lead." So we talked about that a little earlier. There's 2 ways you can do the half hitch around the back end, like the waistline of the dog, or you can use a prong collar. I am a big fan of a prong collar, so especially some of these dogs, like a stubborn bloodhound. They can pull like freight trains, and those things work wonders. Joey McDonald said, "I made a point to hunt more this year, made time for it, handed tracks off left and right." Yeah, I need to do that. Travis Andrews, where's Ralph Bennett, the king of Wiener? Ralph had a procedure done, and he is trying to recover. So he had knee surgery. I shouldn't say procedure. They'll be wondering if he had a sex change or something. Joey McDonald, Stacy Frost said we never went hunting at all this past season. And Joey told on her, said, "Y'all went once. Remember the spike?" And she put, "Oh yeah, I forgot about Florida." But she was down here going on tracks too.
Yeah.
See if I missed any. Yeah, Wyatt Patterson said he had a run of about 5 bad tracks before finally found one this year. Seems to come in waves. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but Randy Vick's probably watching. I remember Randy it's either 14 or 17 in a row. I think it was 17 in a row. And he called me. He's like, "Man, I need a recovery. You get anything good, let me know." Randy knew it wasn't the dog, but still, even as experienced as someone like Randy, it still starts messing with your mind and causes you to, do some things you wouldn't. Oh, Randy is watching. I didn't have time to hunt at all, and I'm retired and have my own hunting land. Randy's got those hunters trained to drop the deer off the processor for him and pay for it. He's got it made. Terry said, "Yes, she's part bloodhound and stubborn when nose is down." Yeah, trust me, I know all about it. Like I said, that prong collar will be your best friend. Mike Alguire says, lucky for me, the job I have, I shot my deer and hogs off the tractor except for two. Both were the big bucks I shot this year. Stacy Frost said we went 10 or more at one point this year without finding one.
It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've all been there. Let's see. That's some good questions come in. Make sure I didn't miss any. I don't know what happened last week, why it did what it did, but
Tell me what happened. You weren't getting any messages.
yeah, it wasn't showing all the comments. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was internet speeds or if it was just a glitch in the program or what. So there was a question that came through, and I meant to write it down for tonight, and I completely forgot what it was. I'm gonna try to look, and if anyone has any questions, you have anything you want to share or questions? Because I want to look that up.
Just about the event coming up in Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that and about hanging out again with the other judges and other hunters, and that's a lot of fun. And trying to figure how many people are coming and how many people have signed up for that so far. You know,
I don't know as far as attending the event. I believe there's 17 or 18 people signed up to test already. I think we're closing the finish level test.
we have 6 finish tests, I think, right?
Well, that's what signed up right now, but I'm bringing a trailer full of dogs.
No.
I'm loading the trailer or 2 dog boxes. I might throw some crates in the back of that toy hauler I'm taking up there.
That was rough. Yeah, so we have that's 18. I'm sure we'll get at least 15 more. But we had a little judges meeting last night and kind of go over some new details and working with the apprenticeship program and
that's something I want to say. You know, we have some pretty regular meetings, Zoom meetings with like we've had a couple with Carrie, Stacy, myself, Travis, Ralph, going over these events and planning stuff. And Travis has already started mapping out the property for the event in May.
Right.
You know, already getting ahead of the game now. And then last night we had a meeting with all the judges and our some candidates that are entering the judging program.
How many judges do we have right now? Do you know? That are actual judges, not apprentices.
I don't know because that's not my department. Carrie was supposed to have got me. Remember, she said, "I'll have you a list tonight."
Yeah, I heard that.
Slacker. She went turkey hunting this morning. That's what happened there. Stacy put, "I'm calling John, taking the trailer away."
Yeah.
All right, I got sidetracked. I was going to look up that question, but
Yeah. So just so y'all know, so a couple of events ago, Kenny was afraid we were going to have as many tests, and we already had 30, and he ended up bringing how many dogs? 9, 10.
I wasn't afraid. I was wanting to get some dogs tested.
You brought a lot of dogs.
And I didn't test them all, though.
Most of them. Poor John.
No, we pulled a lot of them.
Well, I mean, and they did good too, though. So it kind of gives you a little credit for all the testing or all the training you've done so far at your dogs.
Yeah. So we got some questions coming in, but we'll get to those. So you've been to quite a few events now.
Yeah.
Do you learn something at every event?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I not only do I learn different ways to set a track for judging, but I also learn I really enjoy watching the tracker work their dog and the different styles that they do and the little attributes that I pick up on their dog. I can watch a dog work every day. That's my favorite thing. Especially if you have a good handler. that recognizes it too. It makes a lot of fun. Makes a lot of fun.
Right. So I found the question that didn't come through last week that I want to touch on real quick. It was from Okies East Kansas Deer Recovery. We were talking about tracking exotics and other game and stuff.
Yeah.
So he said, sometimes you talk positively about tracking multiple species, but other times not, such as with hogs. I've always turned down opportunities to track anything but deer because I don't want distractions or problems when tracking whitetail. Can you share your thoughts, please? Me personally, I don't like tracking a lot of different species. I do track high fence. I mean, that's a given. I mean, everyone knows that. I track axis deer. I track black buck. I track. I don't even know the names of some of those animals. So.
Springbucks and all that.
Yeah, and those white Asian elk. I personally will not track a hog with the dogs I track deer with. I don't want them trashing on it. I have tracked turkeys. I will track turkeys. But there is that line, and it's kind of like being a jack of all trades and master of none.
So, last year, I spent a lot of other time tracking other things. I literally, you could take a jelly bean, tie it to a string, and use a bicycle on a stick and run it. I had her track a jelly bean just to see if she'd do it. She did it, but I spent so much other efforts doing that with tracking people, tracking other dogs.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was good for her to do that, even though I'm confident that if I give her a task to do that she would do well at it. But she is a deer recovery dog. That's what she is.
Yeah.
And that's what I want her to do. So.
She's a hog dog too, right? See, Mike, I don't discriminate. I've been looking for that video so hard.
You won't find it.
I'll find it.
You won't find
So
it.
Jamie Collette says, do y'all fish? I do fish. In fact, I got here like 10 minutes before we were supposed to start. I didn't have anything set up. I had a charter today, and we waylaid the fish today. I honestly didn't think we were going to do very good.
I'll be fishing Saturday, so
that water temp dropped 14 degrees
Yeah.
since Sunday, and I said, oh boy, these trout are going to be shut down. That's what they wanted, was trout, and we ended up limiting out, and it was a good day. But I did not expect that.
probably because the bait was still around. The bait hasn't left yet.
What bait?
No, oh really? No bait.
Well, we don't have any schools of bait. I mean, it's been an odd year. I do love to fish, and like I said, I think 18 days in a row. No, take that back. 19 days in a row charters right now, without a day off. It's between that and dogs and kids, I stay busy. And this, of course.
Sure.
Joey McDonald says, tell you what tracking will teach you. I shoot and reload immediately and get back on them. Send another one. My last harvest was a back whack. Had I not known, I would have went and got the truck and came back sick when he was gone. I remember seeing that.
What now? I missed it.
He back whacked a deer.
Joey did?
Yeah. And he, from tracking, he knew reload, get another one in it.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, that's right.
He
I've
would
heard
have
that.
lost
I've heard
that
that
deer.
now. Where you put that on social media?
Brian, how do you start the process to become apprentice judge? Go on our website, American Blood Trackers .org, and you can go on there and fill out the application, and that will start the process.
Where does he live at?
I don't know. I can't pull it up right here right now. But that'll start the process. Carrie will get with you and get it going. Jordan Norris, any Texas locations for testing? Not yet. We are starting on, so our off season right now is packed.
Yeah.
We
have Alabama, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and Iowa right now, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's just all before September.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we're pretty swamped, but that's not to say we won't do something, or not to say we won't get a judge in that area. Just um, we are looking at options for next year.
Yeah.
Doing some different areas. We talked about Tennessee, Stacy, Tennessee. We're having one in Florida, Georgia. We've already Stockton. We're doing Stockton again.
Stockton's awesome.
We got Mississippi the week after Alabama. I can't forget that.
Yeah.
And we got a lot going on. Cassie said hogs scare the poop out of her. I've seen the way they can tear up a dog. Absolutely. Mike Alguer, I get asked all the time, especially since I've gotten Debo, why I don't hog hunt with him. My response is I track a lot of areas with hogs. I don't need or want my tracking dogs to lose focus on their job and run hogs instead of tracking.
Amen. 100%.
You should know. That's just me. What's your opinion as a trainer to cross-train dogs? If someone wants me to cross-train dogs, I definitely will cross-train them. In fact, a guy called me today. We're going to be training his to track deer and hogs. If that's what someone wants, that's what we'll do.
I just don't want my dog to leave a deer.
I should have known that. I don't know why I didn't. My brain. I'm just got in off the water. Brian's in Iowa.
Oh.
Chuck Darby, y'all want to cook some crappie in Mississippi that Friday night? Heck yeah. Yeah, Alex already chimed in. Yes, we wanted. Stacy chimed in. Sounds good to me. No doubt. Chris Mom said, y'all doing a crappie feed, I'm coming. So in Alabama, Billy Hodgson is doing a fish fry.
Nice.
So if you're there for the seminar on Saturday, we will be having some fried catfish that he caught himself.
He brought a bunch of fish for us out there in Stockton, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, it was delicious.
That was so good.
So we're going to have some fish fry, and he's already got all the sides, some baked beans, some coleslaw. One of his friends is supplying all the sides, and then he's supplying all the fish, and he's bringing the cookers, and we'll get him some help.
Cool.
That Friday night we're going to grill out, and so one thing we're going to do at this event, we have condensed our speaking time at the seminar down to about an hour and a half.
Right. And then
there's going to be some questions. It's going to run a little later than that. But outside of that, we're doing more workshops. So we're going to have workshops on reading your dog,
yep.
Some advanced mock trail tactics, which would be like doing scent gaps, scent pools, scent challenges, different stuff. How to create wound beds and hit sites, and there'll be a lot of stuff going on there. One of the big questions that often comes up is how do you market your team as a tracker?
It's a big deal.
So that will be Friday evening. Right now, that's the plan. Is we're going to have some testing that morning, and then late Friday evening, we're going to grill out and have a. My wife just texted me. Sorry. So we're going to grill out that evening, and then we're going to have a workshop on how to market your team. You probably don't want to miss because there's a lot of stuff.
What's the benefit, though, of marketing a team, Kenny?
Getting more tracks.
That's right. I thought of it as people need to be familiar with who you are. Being a new tracker a couple of years ago, I didn't have anything. I wasn't a part of the Florida Buck Tracking Network yet. And I just, I felt like I was all gung-ho, wanted to go jump in, and now what?
Right.
Did all this work and training, and like, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's something we'll go over too, and we talk about it on here all the time. the best thing you can do is build a relationship with your fellow trackers. How many tracks have you gotten from fellow trackers?
Most. My first year, I mean, I would say 70% probably.
Yeah, I give away tracks all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean,
But that was a big part of it. But I mean, until you trusted me, you didn't know who I was, you know?
yeah, I'm still questioning. The jury's still out on you. Yeah, so Carrie Patterson said, I'll bring some firewood if the temps are good for it. When are the temps not good for a fire?
Summertime, no fun.
Yeah, you still have the fire, you just back away from it.
I'm good.
I'm ready for some summertime right now.
No.
Cold out on that water. Yeah, we're gonna have some field trials.
Oh yeah, you mentioned a little bit about that. What is that? What do you mean by field trials?
Some friendly head-to-head competition.
It could be fun.
Oh yeah, on lead. We're gonna have some this is what I came up with, some on lead field trials.
Explain.
You better have your cameras ready because there's gonna be some bloopers, some people trying to run to get that speed because it's gonna be a speed competition. It's
Sure.
going to be timed, and what we're so the format I came up with, and we may tweak this a little bit, was to have a bracket style competition where we're limit the entries. Let's say it's 8. So those 8 will run lines, and the lines are going to be the same.
How long the lines?
Probably a couple 100 yards, a couple turns in them,
Okay.
like a lightning bolt type pattern.
Same. Is everybody going to use the same track, or going to do different tracks?
No, you're gonna have to do different, or else
not same.
yes.
No, we're tracking other people.
Right.
Yeah.
So my thought process on it was, those 8 we go out and we run them. We have a judge that's going to time it. So it's going to be based on time. Well then, so you have 8, and then we'll break that down into the top 4. And then those 4 will run and come down.
Yeah. Ask
Come
Coda.
down.
Ask Coda how we'll do in that one.
So, but the final match will be where everyone can watch. Everyone that's there, the audience will have it in a place
That'd
where
be-
everyone can watch.
That'd make me nervous.
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Have some fun. But not only is there going to be a speed side, there's going to be an on lead division, off lead division, but we'll also do a technical trails, which will also be timed.
What day are we doing this?
We're going to do this Saturday evening.
Fine.
So we'll probably have to do some of it. We're going to have to do some of it during the day on Saturday, but the actual final matches will be Saturday evening after the seminar.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it's just some friendly head-to-head competition.
Yeah,
We're going to limit the entries, or else it's going to, it can get way out of hand.
I mean, you already know Camo's going to win.
Who?
Camo.
Ralph can't walk.
He'll be fine by then.
He might be able to do the off-lead stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see him out there running.
I don't know. I don't think you're going to be able to hold Ralph Bennett away.
I'm waiting for, because Lyle's going to get Zeta, and he's going to get in on this. He's already said.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm bringing D.
And Lyle's the type, he's going to be wide open 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He's going to be the one to face plant. So we got to have the camera going. And he's not on here right now. He'd be chiming in. But that's going to be fun. So back to the workshops, we got the advanced mock trails. I believe we're going to have basic obedience, reading dogs, marketing your team, and we have something new that we're rolling out. That's a handler certification. So at the main pavilion, we're going to have a course that's going to go over all the handler side of tracking.
Tell them why that's so important, though.
So the reason this is important is right now there's a lot of states, especially, I say a lot of states, there's states in the South where there hasn't been tracking laws, and some legislation is coming down the line. And if it's not now, it's coming. So we have been looking at how do we separate ourselves from, say, a deer dog hunter or a hog dog hunter or a coon dog hunter or someone with a house dog that's coming out there. How do we separate ourselves? Well, one way is to show that we have. Hang on, I gotta get this dog to hush. That's my wife's big-headed. Hush.
Well, Kenny's
Someone's
2,500
coming down the
dogs.
road. She's doing her job. Someone's coming down the road. Anyways, why it's important is we have to separate ourselves and show that we have some formal training, that we are making the proper decisions for ethical recovery.
Obeying land to the law.
Yes, obeying the laws. Part of that's going to cover social media. So we are our own worst enemies when it comes to social media, things that get posted. There's just a lot of people that doesn't want to see some of that stuff, and believe me, we are the minority. And it's the same for any hunting group. I'm a proponent of all forms of hunting, whether it's hunting deer with dogs, hogs with dogs, coon dogs, still hunting, bow, crossbow. I'm all for all of them. And we need to stick together and not throw each other under the bus, which is what's happening in some of these. Yeah. For many, many years, it's been still hunter against dog hunter here in Florida, right. Georgia, Alabama, the South. Why are we fighting each other?
It's stupid.
You do your thing, you like it, cool. So be it. Let them do their thing.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. But kind of getting off topic there, but that's the reason why. So
that makes sense.
That'll be one way that we can distinguish ourselves, because you also get a lot of people who says, "Oh, I don't need to test my dog certified. My dog, my dog proves in the field putting deer on tailgates." You're right. But how do we go before legislators and say, "Hey, these dogs are trained to stick to a wounded deer trail."
The wounded deer that
right.
we're tracking. That's right.
So a lot of people, I understand, oh, my dog may not take a mock tries. Well,
you can train the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is a way that we thought of to help combat that, where, maybe a handler certification will be sufficient enough for some of these legislators.
How much does that cost?
Free.
Right.
Free. And eventually there will be an online course.
Right.
There will be a test with the course, because that's how we can show, just like a hunter safety course.
And you do it like a Zoom or just
I don't have the format finished yet, but it'll be more, they can go on. I'm hoping it'll just be go on the website. And I will have a training course in place, kind of like a PowerPoint presentation,
right.
Where you go through it and it walks you through the training, and then there's a test at the end. And the reason for that is to show, yes, not only did they learn this information, but they fully understood it and retained it and improved themselves. So some people may want to do it, some people may not. If you don't, that's fine. But
it's a good idea. I mean,
what's it hurt?
No, it's just another thing for your protection of what we do.
No, that's right. Vicky Church says, we're here, me and Captain, we're looking forward to the PA symposium and testing / certification opportunity. We are looking forward to going there, Vicky. We are excited about it.
Yeah, so it's actually my wife's family's property. They've had it for 100 years or so. So it's a beautiful area and can't wait to go see it.
So I had a text come in asking about where people stay in Alabama. Brandy, do you remember what the name of the hotel was we stayed at last year? So we'll get some hotel information. We'll get it shared. But we stayed in Demopolis, which was about 15 minutes. Did you go to Alabama last year?
Nope.
I think we stayed. Where was that in Dothan? Yeah, we'll look it up. But we stayed in Demopolis, which is about 15 minutes away, and it's pretty much just two turns. You go straight down one road, make a left, and then you turn left to go into the entrance of the
dog
cattle
friendly?
ranch. I can't remember. I didn't take any dogs because I was working. I barely had time to sleep.
Oh, that's right. You did a bunch of
So she doesn't know if they're going to have the campsites done in time because they've been doing a lot of work to this place. She said she doesn't know if they'll have the campsites done in time, but I believe she is fine if we do bring campers. It just you may have to have a generator, and there are facilities all over the property as far as bathrooms. She said, "Yeah, we stay at the Comfort Inn in Demopolis. Is it dog friendly?" She's looking.
They are for service dogs, so
Yeah. Carrie Patterson, quit toning that dog. Brandy, there's someone outside. Will you go see what's going on with your dog, that big-headed dog?
why is it always her dog?
Exactly.
Because that is her dog. I think it was the neighbors.
More like Otto.
So Oak Hill said they stayed at the Best Western Two Rivers. Yeah, I thought that was where we stayed. Okay. And the Best Western in Demopolis is dog friendly, so there's an option.
No, it's not different.
Which one? Okay, the Comfort Inn is not pet friendly, but the Best Western is. Stacy Frost said there's a nice campground near the event site, so we'll get all that up. Kevin White says, "Have you named that new puppy yet?" We have not. You haven't seen the new puppy, have you?
No.
Where's the new puppy, Brandy?
What kind of dog is it?
What kind of dog you think it is?
Probably a tickle. Is it?
Yeah, we also have a dogo.
It's got a
Did you meet the dogo?
I did. He's actually a pretty cool dog.
Oh yeah,
Him and Jane seem to be hitting off fine.
yeah. Him and Otto, not so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're working on that one.
Uh-oh.
It's Otto. Otto's a little butthole.
Yeah.
All of Brandy's dogs are. My dogs are perfect.
Yeah.
She doesn't like any of my dogs. I don't like any of hers. So she's going to get the puppy. So this is your first time seeing this one.
Oh, my.
She's cutie pie. Hunter named her, by the way.
What did Hunter name her?
He named her Cora.
So Kevin Hunter named her Cora.
And Cora means heart in Spanish, and dove in Hebrew.
Now, where'd you get this one from?
Mitchell Smith.
Cool.
She's a sweetheart.
A pretty girl.
And we have 9 puppies in there.
How old is this one?
8 weeks old.
Wow. There you go.
All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions here. It's we still got a lot of viewers, but the questions have slowed down. And we did get our dogo from Alex Hood, so I want to thank Alex for that.
I'll tell you, after I think dogos are one of the new breeds of tracking. And they've been going on a long time, but you know, the keepers, Alex, Michael Aguirre, and now y'all. You getting my button? Yeah, but I got to watch Alex, man. That was very impressive.
And I'm telling you, I know Mike struggled on his test, but
He told
we watched Mike. I mean, I watched Mike on his other 2 tests, and Devo.
Is the man, I heard.
Yeah.
Well, he had some pretty good recoveries with him this year too. So
Oh, I told him. I said his whole season changed when he started running that white dog.
Yeah.
I told him leave them bloodhounds at home.
he probably didn't like that too much, not Mike.
Vicky sure said white dogs rock. Alex said, Tommy, we got to change some things now. That ain't gonna work. You got to be there. Bryce Miller, what age do you normally start your puppies? It all depends on the dog. I let the dog dictate when I start them, but probably 4 to 6 months, depending on the breed and depending on the dog. Stacy's but watch it with the bloodhound jabs. But yeah, some people say start them at 8 to 10 weeks. I'm not. It's just me. I've trained a pile of dogs, and I personally don't see the advantage of starting them early over starting them late. I've had some pretty good dogs over the years, and I like to start them late. I feel like you're about to lose your glasses. I like a dog to have more of an attention span, and when I start the training, I'm pretty aggressive with it. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm very aggressive with the training. I mean, I'm not taking baby steps. If they hit 50 yards today and they do good, I'm at 100 yards tomorrow. And then if I'm at 100 yards, it's an hour. They hit the 100 yards. The next day, I'm going to 2 hours. They hit that, I'm going to 200 yards. They hit that, I'm going to 200 yards in 2 hours. I'm doubling until they start struggling. Then I may back up a little, or I may stay right there. But I'm pretty aggressive in my training. But I will put this disclaimer out there: is I trained a lot of dogs. I know when to push, when not to. So I'm not gonna tell you to do it the way that I do it, because it may not work for the average person. I mean, are you that aggressive?
DG was just super simple. She wanted to do it. So at a young age, I mean, I pushed her until I just, I remember calling Ralph Banks. I knew him more than I knew you. And he, challenge. And so it was something we kept working on. But at that time, I was doing it almost every day. And
we train every day.
Yeah. But she liked it. And so I just kept doing it. A Pickle started her at probably 13 weeks, and 14 weeks, and she liked it, so we continue to do it. So I think it depends on the drive, in my opinion. But I'm not a trainer like you. So.
Yeah, and I will say this: a lot of people ask me, how do you always get dogs that excel? As far as my personal dogs, I'm not afraid to call a dog. If it doesn't meet my criteria, the dog's gone.
Yeah. I had
not even necessarily criteria. If it doesn't fit
your style,
my style, or what I'm looking for, I've got big dogs, I got small dogs, I got stuff in between. But there's reasons for all of them.
right?
And Perry Lawrence says, "Do you run big dogs and little ones together now that I'm training a wiener?" Yes,
I did every time.
Yeah, and I will say this. So I've told this story before, but on a track last year, I took Dixie. John had Otto at a wildlife management area because he had the track on lead, and so he took Otto because obviously Otto's easier to handle on lead. And I took Dixie, and she was struggling on this track, and it was right across the road from my house, literally less than 10 minutes away, maybe 5 minutes away. And we were struggling. I called John, and Dixie's a good dog. She's a seasoned dog. You track with her.
Yeah,
she's a good dog. Whatever reason, she was struggling. And I called John, and I said, "John, where are you at with Otto?" He said, "I'm on my way to your house." I said, "Well, go just past my road, take the first road to the left, and meet me down there." He says, "For what?" I said, "Dixie's struggling on this track. I need you to bring me Otto." And he laughs. He said, "What's Otto going to do with her? Dixie's struggling." Yeah. And I went ahead and went back to the truck, waited on him. We turned Dixie and Otto out. And Dixie's a Ladner blackmouth cur. She's fast, real fast. And Otto is obviously not as fast. He's short-legged. Otto beat Dixie and the deer by 125 yards. Because he stayed true to that line and he didn't miss.
Yeah.
Slow and steady won the race.
Yeah.
Now that deer happened to be alive, and it ran off with Otto hanging off the side of it. And, once that happened, Dixie left him in the dust. But
yeah. Perry, I ran Pickle, which is my Teckle with DG, at least 100 times last year. I did find, though, that if it was just her and Pickle, that DG would slow down a little bit. Wasn't like a race. And one if it was the other trackers with their dogs, and I think then DG would pick up the pace, and Pickle would have to go behind. But when they're just together, they work together very well. They complement each other in their different styles. So
Yeah, and well, I had a bunch of texts come through, but yeah, there's nothing. Like I said, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. I will say I am a cur dog man. You know, I like my curs. I like my Catahoulas. You know, I think I'm gonna like these white dogs. I like Brandy's big-headed dog that's aggravating right now, but because she's barking, that's why she's your dog right now. But it's fun working those little dogs.
I just like how exacted they are. You can really take in the track a lot more, and you don't miss as a handler. You don't miss near as much. You know, when I'm chasing DG, a lot of time I'm just looking at my Garmin, and trying to follow behind her. So you miss a lot because she's fast, very fast.
I know when you first started tracking with Pickle, you and I tracked together, and you're like, man, I can't take this. It's just too slow. This is. You were having a rough time with it.
Oh yeah, I was. But she was also very young.
Yeah.
She was not even 6 months old.
But the thing I like about it is you are part of the entire track.
Yeah.
If you like watching a dog work,
you were right.
That is the breed. Those little dogs are the breed to have. Now, don't get me wrong; they can be fast.
Yeah, no. I mean, she's not slow. You have to move sometimes. I mean, if she's on that track and she's confident, you're going to have to move.
Oh yeah.
So, but her confidence level now compared to what it was is. But I spent in the last, like I told you a couple weeks ago, I spent the last 5 or 6 weeks, really, really just working her, and I think part of it too is even though she was always confident in the track, I wasn't confident in her.
And I told you that.
Yep.
No, I kept telling you that.
And she is the real deal. She's going to turn a lot of heads next year.
Yeah, we trained a dog for some. We trained several dogs for this person, and you know who it is. You've worked with him, and he called me last week and says, "Well, I want to come by and have you or John work with my male and see what's going on." I said, "Well, I can tell you what's going on. You're not working that dog.
Mm-hmm.
You've built confidence in this one, and you've neglected the rest."
Yeah,
and that's the problem with having multiple dogs. I'm a little different because you see it. I'll pull out a young dog before I will my finished dog.
Yeah, you're right.
I love watching a young dog work. Some of the best recoveries I made have been with puppies, but I still have that confidence that I got one in the box that if that puppy doesn't find it, and it's dead, we're going to get it.
Yeah, I was talking to Jeff about it actually a couple of days ago. I said, "Hey Jeff, we're going to leave some dogs home this year. It's going to hurt their feelings, but we have to. His dog Peanut, his Catahoula, is killing it. She's doing really, really well, and she's young. She's not even a year old yet, and so she works slow. Her and Pickle will probably
that'll change.
Yeah, her and Pickle will probably work really, really well good together. They're buddies, and but keeping it's. I know it's hard to do, but I'm gonna.
Peanut and Dixie work good together.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we went over, it was the same guy. The one I was telling you about, the same guy.
Yeah.
Peanut and Dixie were like that on that track.
Yep. Yeah, Peanut's gonna be a heck of a dog. So.
Yeah, just got to work on that handler. I know he's not watching, so I can pick on him a little bit.
He watches it later.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll get a text later.
Yeah.
Well, the comments have started slowing down. If anyone has any questions or comments, we're probably going to start wrapping things up since it slowed down. And we're just sitting here reminiscing at this point. If not, we're going to wrap it up because you have a drive.
Yep, yeah, I want to drive back. Yeah. I got lots of paperwork to do tonight, so
I got lots of fishing to do tomorrow.
I'm doing Saturday.
And I got some paperwork. And Carrie Patterson, she's got some paperwork.
Yeah.
We'll give it just a few minutes, or probably 30 seconds or so. If you don't have any, or if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them last minute, and we'll get to them. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping it up. So Ralph was going to be on this week, but he's been
Still messed up. Yeah. Y'all keep Ralph Bennett in your prayers. Get him recovered quickly.
I mean, he's getting around. He's being ornery. He's probably watching. I'll probably get a call later or text. But all right. Well, nothing's came through, so we appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm gonna just do a last minute check. Before we hop off here, because I don't want to miss anyone or anything, especially after last week. Those comments weren't coming through, and I don't know why. There's Big Head again. Let's see. All right. Looks like we got everything.
Sweet, man.
So appreciate you coming out.
Yeah,
No one wants to
thanks for
listen to me by myself.
Yeah.
I was going to make Brandy hop on.
Heck no.
All righty. Well, y'all have a good night. If you have any questions at any point, you can get on our Facebook group, American Blood Trackers Facebook group, and we will answer them to the best of our ability. And we will see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
7.
I don't know how I
7:30.
messed that up, but y'all have a good